The Clipse have finally announced the release date for their new album, Let God Sort Them Out, which will drop on July 11th. Their new single, Alley Trumpets, just came out last Friday, and they also sat down with GQ for an in-depth interview. The album was supposed to come out last summer but got delayed, and now we're learning why. In the interview, they explained what happened behind the scenes, why the project got pushed back, what issues came up at Def Jam under the UMG label, and how the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef played a big role. They also touched on some drama involving Jim Jones, including previous interviews and the shots he took at him in a song. They mentioned Kanye too, but what really got the blogs buzzing was a specific part of the GQ interview. Def Jam reportedly dropped Clipse as a duo and Pusha T as a solo artist because he refused to censor Kendrick Lamar's verse. Here's how. It went down. The brothers were really proud of the album they made. They said it felt strong, confident, and complete. Def Jam liked the music too, except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on a song called Chains and Whips, which Pharrell first previewed at his Louis Vuitton fashion show. That track was actually the first one recorded for the project. But things changed after the summer feud between Kendrick and Drake exploded, leading to an ongoing lawsuit. UMG didn't like the idea of Kendrick and Pusha, two of Drake's biggest rivals, appearing on the same record. Pusha explained that Def Jam was nervous about how it might look. He thought that was ridiculous because Kendrick's verse wasn't even a diss. In fact, the line that stood out was about therapy and growth, not beef. Still, the label told Pusha to ask Kendrick to change the verse. He said no. Then they wanted him to scrap the entire song. Again, he refused. After about a month of back and forth, a lawyer at the label said, "Well, just drop Clipse then." Pusha told them they might as well release everyone, him included. Eventually, Def Jam agreed. They let Clipse and Pusha go, freeing them to find a new label while holding on to their finished album. Pusha says that move actually felt rewarding, especially when other labels started reaching out. A week ago, the group posted a picture in front of Roc Nation's building, revealing they've now signed with Jay-Z's company. Pusha said the energy and support there feel right, and that the partnership makes sense for their legacy in rap. Heeb also addressed the moment Drake bought some chains that once belonged to Pharrell. Some people thought that was a big flex, but Pusha dismissed it. He said Pharrell didn't sell those chains because he needed money. He saw Drake's move as more of a fan gesture than anything serious. On the lawsuit, Pusha had more to say. He believes the only reason Drake filed it is because he knows the truth about how his team tried to block and suppress music around the time Pusha dropped the story of Adidon. Pusha says, "I don't rate him anymore," referring to Drake. To him, going the legal route takes the soul out of rap. He says it cheapens the art. There's more in the full GQ interview, but what's making headlines is how the Drake and Kendrick beef may have cost Clipse their deal. Back in 2017-2018, Pusha and Drake had their own issues, which adds context. Def Jam didn't want to risk stirring that pot again. Pusha believes their music got blocked to protect Drake's image, even if indirectly. According to him, if anyone knows how to suppress songs or control the narrative, it's Drake. He also went into how his working relationship with Kanye West fell apart. He's now working with Pharrell again, which brings things full circle. The industry politics are clear. At this point, it seems like everyone's picking sides. Pusha said that when Def Jam told them to change Kendrick's verse, he refused. It wasn't about dissing anyone, it was about artistic freedom. The verse was already flawless, he said, and he wasn't going to play the political game by asking for changes. Even though Clipse agreed not to drop the song, Pusha believes it could have still ended up in the lawsuit since Kendrick and he are both artists Drake has clashed with. Def Jam wanted to avoid drama during a tense time when Drake and Kendrick were going at it. J. Cole was originally involved in the conversation too, which would have made it a true battle among rap's top three. The label just wanted to sit back and let that unfold without making things worse. But from Pusha's view, it's not just about one song, it's about control. He believes the label was more focused on optics than music. He made it clear he doesn't want to be told how to create or release music. He refused to play politics with verses or censorship. That's what made him walk away and find a new home for his music. The industry tried to manage the situation carefully, especially around release timing, optics, and avoiding extra fuel in a public battle. But Pusha saw through all that. Lidwell too Real artists should be allowed to make the music they want without censorship. And if people start getting lawyers involved over rap beefs, it just waters everything down. Looking at the bigger picture, Kendrick Lamar came out of this moment with a clear win. His diss track hit hard. It was well produced, with DJ Mustard handling the beat, and the whole package resonated with fans. The world was already waiting for a response from him, and he delivered. Drake admitted it was a bop, even though it was aimed at him. Meanwhile, Drake's own responses didn't land the same way. Kendrick's song just had more impact. This whole story shows how deep the politics go in the music industry. It's not just about who's better on the mic. It's about power, alliances, and control over who gets heard and when. Pusha didn't want to be caught in that web. He stood his ground, refused to change a verse, and got dropped. But in the end, he and Clipse are still moving forward, now with full control under Roc Nation. At the end of the day, rap has always been competitive. But when legal actions start replacing lyrics and verses, it changes the game. Pusha made his stance clear. He's not backing down, and he's not playing by anyone else's rules. This isn't just music for him. It's about integrity, freedom, and standing on principle. That's where he draws the line.